Business Focus is brought to you by EcoBank, Telecel,
Touch Concentrated Perfume.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to another episode of Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obodu. Now, the Abosokan Spare Parts Dealers Association has directed its members to reduce prices following the cedi's recent appreciation, a move aimed at easing consumer costs and bolstering national economic recovery efforts. Tonight on Business Focus, we engage relevant stakeholders on the feasibility of a reduction in prices of spare parts as well as recent marginal decline in prices of fuel at the pumps. Meanwhile, how will these developments impact transport fares? We'll also engage the GPRTU. Also ahead in the show, Ghana records non-traditional export earnings of $3.83 billion in 2024, a 2.87% dip in the earnings recorded compared to 2023. We will engage a representative from the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, actually its head of research, on how the country can reverse the trend. These and many others are lined up for you today here on Business Focus. And do remember that Business Focus is sponsored by Telecel and EcoBank. Now, every day people face different emergencies: police emergency, fire emergency, medical emergency, you name it. But many Ghanaians don't know their emergency numbers. Well, here's one you would want to remember: *770#. Yes, *770# is the new EcoBank money emergency number. *770# gives you instant access to loans, fund transfers, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more, even without data. So there's no need to panic when you find yourself in a money emergency. EcoBank will always come to your rescue. Dial *770# now for solutions to your money emergencies. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll delve into the nitty-gritties of today's show. Please stay tuned.
Every day,
Welcome back. This is Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obodu. And to situate all the conversation that we're having today, we'll be walking you through some data we've put together on how things have fared, especially with regards to the cedi and the dollar, fuel prices and the likes, and how all of this brings us to the broader conversation about whether or not it's time to drop prices of transport fares across the country. Now, looking at the breakdown of transport fares increments in 2024 alone, as at March 7, it went up by 30%. The hike in fuel prices and government failure to address some of their concerns were the reasons. In April 26, it went up again by 20%. Fuel price increment was the reason. July 22, it went up again by 15%. So cumulatively, as at last year alone in 2024, fuel prices went up cumulatively by over 60% in 2024 alone. Now, the cedi depreciation or performance against other major currencies, a lot of the big arguments about why transport fares are increased is the cost of fuel, cost of spare parts and the likes, and all of these depend on how the dollar fares. And as at May 2025, today that we are speaking, the dollar is trading at 12 cedis, 33 pesos. We started the year at 14 cedis, 71 pesos. Already that gives you some over 1 cedi spread, even about 1.5 cedi thereabouts. And industry players are even optimistic that these numbers could get better. Some are projecting that we could end the year with the cedi trading against the dollar as low as 10 cedis. We'll see how all of that pans out in the next coming days. Fuel prices at the pumps as we speak. Some are as at Friday, 19 July 2024, which is about a year ago, fuel prices were selling at 15 cedis, 10 pesos. Today, as we speak, at some stations like Go, you get it for about 13 cedis, 27 pesos. Some stations, others like Star and the likes, are selling for 12 cedis, 45 pesos per litre. That's how much lower prices have fallen at the market as we speak. Petrol has seen 12.12% price decline since July 2024. Diesel has also witnessed a 9.05% decline since July 2024. So you are seeing a multifaceted impact here, from the fact that the price of crude oil on the international market is dropping. As also, in addition to that, is the fact that the cedi is strengthening against the US dollar. All these are culminating in the results that we are seeing today. Situate all of this, we've brought in guests to digest the various conversations. Various players in the transport industry have been brought together, from spare parts dealers to the transport operators themselves, to find out how then is, or what then is the way forward with all these gains that we are seeing. If increase in fuel prices were the reasons transport fares were going up, now that fuel prices are dropping, how soon, especially when fuel prices have dropped 6 consecutive times since the start of the year. Now, the Abosokan Spare Parts Dealers Association has directed its members to reduce prices following the Ghanaian cedi's recent appreciation, a move aimed at easing consumer costs and bolstering national economic recovery efforts. In May 18, 2025, a press statement, the association linked the directive to government policies strengthening the local currency and stabilizing macroeconomic conditions. Joining me in studio to assess the feasibility of the directive is Head of Communications at the Abosokan Spare Parts Dealers Association, Techi Ado. Meanwhile, there are calls for the GPRT, that's the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, to also reduce transport fares. Will the union budge? We'll also hear from Alhaji Abbas Imoro, who is the Industrial Relations Officer at the GPRT, who is also here with me in studio. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. PRO, Public Relations Officer of the GPRT. Thank you for joining us. All right, gentlemen, today you people are smiling for the long time in a long while. For the first time in a long while. I'll start with you, Che. Tichi, sorry. Tell me, how have things been for you as spare parts dealers at Abosokan since the start of the year, especially looking at how the cedi has fared against the US dollar?
Let me say good evening to your viewers. Let me say good evening to my able PRO, Mr. Abbas Imoro, and yourself. Yes, because since January, we start witnessing the little relief concerning this dollar cedi differentials. We realize that the cedi will appreciate. So that's why we'll start at least monitoring the system. After the budgets, I had the opportunity to meet Finance Minister one-on-one, and I asked him about how is he going to reduce import duty concerning spare parts and other stuff. He said there's no reforms. The only thing they can do is they need to stabilize the economy and to stabilize the dollar. That's the only thing that will solve our problem. So there's no major reforms will be at the port. That's a very well, because the moment they see this start appreciating and the dollar is starting coming down, clearly the economy will be a little stabilized. So after the budget, we start monitoring the exchange rates, and gradually, here we are today, 12 cedis, 33 pesos, right? And the spare parts industry, we're also happy because, you see, our major problem is about the exchange rates. And all of us, we are consumers. So anything that happens, it affects everybody. Every tomato seller will say, because of the dollar, that's why tomato is going up, the prices are going up. But the dollar is down. But we are not seeing the market, how tomatoes and onions and stuff coming down. We are not seeing it. We don't know the reason why it's happening so. Last week, one of my members cleared his container from the port. Even the 40-footer container from Korea, he paid 85,000 Ghana cedis. So the question is, what is happening at the port? Now, dollar is 12 cedis. Okay. So we are not supposed to be paying high cost of duty. At least we need to see a little changes. Even though we have old stock. The reason why traders are saying we can't reduce it, we need to give the traders 3 or 4 months. For me, I disagree with them. Do you know why? That's the reason why we are saying adjust your prices. We are not saying reduce the signal, say adjust it, because you can't tell me we are waiting for 2 or 3 months, 4 months before you reduce your prices. No, you can't do that. But then the dollar starts shooting up. What are we going to do? That means you are not being fair to consumers and Ghanaians as a whole. You understand? Now there's a national cake everybody needs to enjoy. Dollar is down. Reduce your prices so everybody will benefit. All consumers will be enjoying. Yesterday, I issued a statement. Yeah, you worked on it yesterday afternoon. I love the story. We did well. We are directing our members to follow the association, the executives, to at least to adjust. We are not forcing them. We are not appealing to them because some of us, we bought the dollar 15 cedis, 16 cedis, and our dollar is 12 cedis. So you cannot force that person to do so immediately. But the only thing you can do is just persuade that person, just educate the person what is happening. Because now, policy rates now is 28%. It's not helping the interbanks. The moment policy rate is high, interbank interest rate will also be high. That's one of our challenge. Let the policy rate come down, at least 25%. Interbank's interest rate will come down. 35 to 40% is too much. Do you understand? So the association is incumbent on us to at least to educate our members. Just adjust your price, because I remember last week I spoke to GPI, to some of the executives. They say, let people reduce the spare parts. After that, we'll come out with maybe 20%, 50% reduction. I say, really, are you sure? I say, they will do our best. And today, look at where we are now. After my statement, they've done a great job. That if we reduce.
They are taking the wind out of his sails. So you let him be the one.
Yeah, because you see,
I like he's enjoying working.
I like it's true. I'm enjoying it because we are working together. You understand? Because spare parts goes a vehicle. Because without spare parts, because spare parts is the heartbeat of Ghanaian economy. The government can decide today, I'm going to ban rice, sugar, oil, everything, but you cannot ban spare parts because we don't manufacture spare parts in this country. So spare parts is the heartbeat of the Ghanaian economy. So anything bounds to the spare parts. We all call it spare parts, reduce it. And look at where we are now. Some of members have started reducing their parts today.
By how much?
Oh, you see, the reason why I don't mention percentage in the statement because I don't want to do so. Someone like me, suction absorber, 1,000 cedis, is now 800 cedis.
Really?
Oh yes.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. 2009 model
for the pair.
For the pair.
Okay.
You understand? So we are see there's a big guys. They call me this morning, Techi. I love your statement. You're courageous because of you are going to reduce our spare parts. Yes, some of the engines. One of them because the engine. I think the engine one costs 60,000. Now it has reduced to 55,000.
It is fair.
It's fair. Because of the statement, because they trust the association, the new executive, the chairman Henry Roach Jr. The guy is performing, and we also need to follow him. GPI and spare parts industry, we are all doing the same to support the government. Mind you, let me say one thing: Dr. Tufosin is performing. Bank of Ghana governor is performing. They are doing well. You know why? I went to Nigeria last Monday, at least at an event in Lagos. That's Landmark Center. There's West Africa Automotive Show, the biggest automotive show in West Africa. But in West Africa, I changed $1,000 in Murtala Muhammad Airport. $1,000 equivalent to Naira gave me 1.6 million Naira. Equivalent that amount to see this is 18,600. And here today, Ghana, the same $1,000 will give you 12,000 cedis. Means that it's not about US-China war. It's about somebody is performing. The fundamentals are very strong. Our two forces is performing. The government is performing. You understand? So as a businessman, a trader, I think we're all happy.
You're a very happy man.
Yes, I know.
You're a very happy man.
Yes, I should be happy.
Right. So now let's hear from GPRTU, Alhaji Abbas Imoru. I think you are the most outspoken face of GPRTU. But now I believe you're also a happy man because 6 consecutive times fuel prices have dropped. A lot of windfalls for you, transport operators, not so?
Well, good evening to viewers and my brother and the workers as well. I know after breaking this news, everybody is happy hearing. Today we met with the Transport Ministry, and after a marathon news, we finally break somewhere middle of the meeting. We left for some time. We went out to another place. We also concluded our meeting over there, and we came back to the Transport Ministry.
Okay.
We did that because we wanted to have a full monopoly to make sure of what we are doing. Fuel has dropped. I heard you demonstrating at least roughly about 18%.
Yeah.
And through the tradition that we use over there, the 18 should be divided by 3, and then we should use only 1/3 of it to tag our percentage. We never did that.
Why? Why would you use only 3?
That is the tradition we made over there, yes.
But when you are increasing, you increase more than that.
When we are increasing, that is what they tag us with.
But we saw your increments from the figures we looked at. Last year, you went up 20%.
I'm telling you, if you want us to go into things, our people will rather descend on us. That we've stood too low for what we are announcing.
Okay.
So let's don't go deep into it.
If you say so.
We normally have to divide it by 3 and pick 1/3 of it. We never did that. We pick 15% only on fuel. Spare parts, yes, we've heard our brothers or our neighbors, whichever way you want me to describe you. We heard them announce that they are speaking to their people to reduce the price of spare parts. They've never done as we speak now. But we believe, lo and behold, it will come to pass.
Okay.
So we put that belief somewhere. We don't only run transport with only spare parts. We have lubricants. The prices went up, and still at where it is. Initially, we've been servicing our vehicle for 4 weeks. Now nobody does that. Every 3 weeks, you have to spend money to make sure you prolong the lifespan of your engine. The engine oil itself has different qualities, some synthetic, some this, with different prices. We have forgotten about all this, and we said we want to contribute our quota of the government directive to rewind or reset our nation. So we wholeheartedly accepted to reduce the lorry fares as low as 15%.
15%.
The media, we want to put this on record.
Okay.
That we did not wait for other components, but from the fuel and from the belief we have in our brothers that they've spoken to them, they've also promised they are going to do their best to reduce spare parts. We are very happy to give out our quota. So we have reduced lorry fares as low as 15%, effective Saturday.
Effective Saturday, 15%.
Saturday. Tomorrow, our communique will officially come out. By looking at our relationship with you, I can't resist till tomorrow. I say, let me come and pass it to you so that everybody will see what we've done. For the second time, we've performed another magic for the nation. Yeah.
Some will argue that you increased by over 50%. So if you've done 15, you haven't done much.
No, if they want to bring that, they rather put the leadership into a very tight corner. Whatever we did, we were all along thinking you tag us with some religious title, because each time we've been giving away a lot of percentages that we are supposed to tag the general public. We give percentages away.
Well, we are happy that at least you've made a move, but we think that you've been a bit late, because some will argue that because fuel prices have dropped since January to May, it's taking you this long to
tell them we don't run transport with only fuel. And currently, I am saying we've done your man's job. We haven't waited to our brothers and make sure we are doing what we are supposed to do. But we've given out
15%.
So they shouldn't descend on us. Tomorrow, if our spare parts brothers start reducing, nobody should descend on us, because I've said the 18% decrease on fuel, we should have divided by 3 and dwell on only 1/3 of it. That is the custom we met over there, the transport industry. That's what we've been dealing with. You come tomorrow to make sure what we are saying is more religiously well spoken. We can get to the transport ministry and they will tell you the fact.
So you're basically saying that you've been able to see 2/3 of what you would originally have done. So we should clap for you. Fair point. Now, looking at the reduction right now, does it affect all transport, or do the long journey people have an explain it all to us?
All transport.
All transport.
All transport, across board.
Okay, so let's look at an example. How much is the fare from Accra to Kumasi?
Oh, I might not, because we have about 4 different vehicles with 4 different prices. So don't push me there.
So okay, let's assume it's 100 cedis. And then now you are reducing it by 15%. That would be like 15 cedis off it.
Yes.
So it means that moving forward now, if we're paying 100 cedis to Kumasi, you pay 85 cedis.
85, yeah.
Okay, it's a good start.
So you can buy bread, buy ice cream, buy water. Help me.
From the 15 cedis.
From the 15 cities.
Interesting. But transport spare parts dealers, I'm sure you also still benefit from this windfall, because you also use transport to some extent. So I would say, for you as operators, what is your expectation from government going forward in the midst of all of this? Clearly, you are happy at the moment, but I'm sure you would want more.
For me?
For you as...
you see, as a spare part dealer, we are happy because after clearing your container, you need to get a vehicle that will transport your container to your destination. You know how much you are paying? So sometimes we pay 2,500, 3,000. Now that 50% increment has come on board. Technically, if you are paying 3,000, you are going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's a good relief for everybody. For all of us, we are consumers. Do you understand? Relief for everybody. We are happy that our brothers, at least for giving us 15% for a start, is in the right direction. But I can assure you, the spare parts price will come down. I can assure you, we are working on this seriously.
That is also the belief we have.
Yes, tomorrow we are meeting the stakeholders tomorrow at our main office tomorrow morning. We are meeting there around 10 o'clock at least. Because they want to reduce the spare parts. We don't want whereby they will say, oh, why Abosokan always... You see, Abosokan perceived to be, you see, especially political arena. So if you don't do that, it's going to create some perception why this party in power, we are not doing that. This party in power, we have been doing this. Do you understand? So this time we are trying to change the narratives. You understand? I say because we just came to power 2 years ago. So we are forced to change the narratives. You understand? We are giving everybody fair opportunity to come to Abosokan, to come with whatever they want to do, especially...
you mean your association?
We came, the new executives.
The new executives,
yes,
okay, fair point.
Yeah.
But Titi, we expect more from you. Alaj, I know you were going to make a point. From the transport savings alone...
That there are certain positions, if you acquire, you should not be seen politically.
Yeah.
So I just want to advise him that there are certain positions, you should stay out of politics and speak your serious business language.
Alhaji is speaking from a lot of experience. How many years have you been at the helm of leadership at GPRT?
I think from 2014 also.
2014? Wow, that's about 16... 2014 is about 10 years, 11 years ago.
I've been around for 10 years for communicating on business.
Fair point. Now I'm back to you. We've heard about transport fare reliefs for you that you are also going to benefit from. You said you spend about 3,000 cedis importing on transport.
Yeah.
That 3,000 cedis based on Alaji's relief gives you 2,550 cedis, a drop of about 450 cedis.
It's a huge sum of money.
Huge sum of money.
Yes.
So it means that we should.
Congratulations. Thank you very
So
much.
it should just match me up and ask me if my vehicle is suffering from any spare part. I should just walk to him.
See the way he's run away from the point. Because if Alaji has been able to reduce by 15% and look at the savings it's giving you, remember that you're also benefiting from the windfalls that from the CD that is appreciating against the US dollar. So it means that you, first of all, your CDs you can get more dollars from your CDs, which is getting you more money. And then at the port to your duty will come down marginally also because of the strength of the appreciation of the CD, coupled with what you are benefiting now from Alaji. And then also fuel prices that have dropped. So what percentage, at least agreeably, should we expect from you as Aboso spare parts? Transport operators have started with 15%.
You see, normally the industry, we normally don't give percentage. We normally don't give percentage out.
Okay.
We don't do that. But I like the point you are saying. The import duty will reduce. That means we are it's yet to, because now we are still paying as we are
it should
paying.
have reduced at this point.
No, it should have, but it's not happening.
What rate are you using at the port?
You see, now we're expecting Ali to give us 10 cedis at the port, because we need to use Bank of. You see, Bank of America cannot use interbank rates.
What
Bank of America rates?
Please hold on. What rate were you using in January at the port?
January.
Yes.
January.
Let's do our
because
own
at
analysis.
that time, what was the rate at that time? That's 14 cedis.
You were using 14
cedis.
cedis. What is the rate today?
Rate is 12 cedis. So only Bank of
that is 2 cedis savings. So automatically your cost on duty has gone down by 2
Bank of
cedis.
Ghana will determine the rate is going to. That's why we are saying that they are performing, but they need to say whether, I don't know whether they use the 30% benchmark at the port.
It feels like you are running away from the fact that your duty at the port has reduced by about 2 cedis per the dollar rate alone.
If you go through my statement, I may mention that we are directing our message to reduce their prices. You understand? Even though not all is rosy,
okay,
but there's a little challenges. But we need to do so, because we can't be saying that we are waiting for the dollar to at least to appreciate maybe 200% before we do
they want to crawl before walking.
You understand? So Michael, the issue is
we have to go on break. When we come back.
Yes.
This is Business Focus here on TV3. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you more. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. This is Business Focus here on TV3. Earlier on the show, we had a rep from the Abosokan Spare Parts Dealers Association, the spokesperson, joining us on the conversation about the appreciation of the cedi and their call on their members to reduce prices. But you heard it first here on Business Focus. Breaking is the fact that transport fares will go down by 15% effective Saturday. That's according to the GPRT, Ghana Private Road Transport Union. They've conceded finally to drop transport fares after fuel prices have dropped 6 consecutive times at the pumps, and also with spare parts dealers agreeing to reduce their prices. So some windfalls there for consumers. I'm sure many of us will be happy about this announcement. But well, every day people face different emergencies: police emergency, fire emergency, medical emergency, you name it. But many Ghanaians don't know their emergency numbers. Well, here is one you would want to remember: *770#. Yes, *770# is the new EcoBank money emergency number. *770# gives you instant access to loans, fund transfers, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more, even without data. So there's no need to panic when you find yourself in any money emergency. EcoBank will always come to your rescue. Dial *770# now for solutions to your money emergencies. EcoBank, the Pan-African bank. And remember that Business Focus is sponsored by EcoBank and Telecel. We'll segue now into our conversation. Next conversation, that's on Ghana's non-traditional exports in 2024, which recorded earnings of 3.83 billion cedis, reaching 152 countries across 609 product lines and involving over 1,500 exporting items. The country's earnings have shown steady and consistent growth, significantly contributing to the country's overall export performance. This, however, represents a 2.87% decline compared to previous years. I am joined in studio by Head of Research at the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Dr. Martin Akokti. Thank you so much for joining us, Doc. It's good to have you in studio.
Yeah, good to have you, and thanks for having us.
Okay.
On behalf of my CEO, we are excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you're welcome. You recently launched your non-traditional export statistics 2024.
Yeah.
Walk us through some of the findings. First off, we've seen a decline in the earnings from traditional exports, non-traditional exports. Is this expected?
Okay, yeah. All right, so thank you for having me. And let me give a background of what traditional and non-traditional is, just for our cherished viewers to probably appreciate. So our nomenclature, we have traditional exports, which naturally consists of the cocoa beans, of the crude, the minerals, timber, and electricity. Now, anything outside of this is classified as non-traditional exports. And for us at GEPA, that is our mandate, and to ensure that we promote, we facilitate, and develop Ghana's non-traditional exports. And so basically, this year's, if you look at this year's statistics which we launched, which is, which is against 2024. Basically, as you mentioned, there's been a decline, a marginal decline. So 2023 statistics, we recorded 3.94 billion USD. However, in 2024, it declined. We had a drop down to 3.83 billion USD. And that gives you a decline of minus 2.8, as you alluded to. Now, there are reasons which accounted for this. Number one reason has to do with the decline in the exports of the iron and steel, primarily to the Sahelian region, specifically Burkina Faso. There's been a drop if you look at the numbers. Now, aside that one, there are other reasons possibly accounting for this. What we've noticed over the years is that, so there's a trend from 2012 to date. Every 4 years, we experience a bit of a decline in the earnings. So it's not surprising that 2024 being an election year, we experienced the dip. Again, if you look at the dynamics, as far as non-traditional exports is concerned, so normally with the first quarter, so the exports picks up two main, so we have the first quarter and the last quarter.
Okay.
Now, so you first quarter January to March, and then the last quarter having to do with October, November, December. Now, you agree with me that the election took place, of course, in December. Now, the last quarter of 2024, naturally, there was a lot of activity that related to the election. So we see that possibly affected the exports. And also, of course, top of our mind, we realize that every election year there are a number of things in terms of investor confidence, among other activities become a bit slow. So these are some of the reasons that accounted for the dip. But if you look at it this year already, we see an increase within the first quarter compared to the first quarter of 2023. So yes, it's unfortunate, but we see more, we see a positive outcomes, and it's in 2025 within the first quarter. Yeah.
All right, but help us understand what really is happening in Burkina Faso that resulted in a decline. Any particular reason why that happened?
Oh, no. So like I said, so basically you would have to look at it from the production side. The production side is so normally you have the company, so they place orders for the products. In a case where demand is low, you're going to have that, what's the name? You're going to have that coming up.
Okay.
So basically, it's not the case. It's from the demand side of it. There is a demand factor.
Right.
That demand was quite low. And
are we sure it's not that they are getting alternatives?
No, I can tell for a fact. Okay. Because if you look at it, basically, don't forget Burkina happens to be our leading market destination as far as the non-traditional exports are concerned, consecutively for the past 3 years. It's just the 2024, which we published, we launched a couple of days ago, that the Netherlands has taken the lead.
Netherlands has taken the lead?
It has taken the lead as our leading market destination.
Okay.
Other than that, it has always been Burkina for the past 3 years. So, and if you look at the products going to the Sahelian region, Burkina, even within the ECOWAS sub-region, Burkina is our major leading market destination.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And I know they import a lot of creams and cosmetic stuff.
Yes, so articles of plastic, if you, aluminum products, articles of plastics, there are a lot of products that Burkina really export, import from Ghana. Okay. And not just Burkina Faso, we have Niger, we have Mali. Yeah. Another
interesting thing about the report is the fact that manufacturers and semi-processed subsector remain dominant forces in our NT portfolio.
Yes.
That's quite interesting, especially knowing that these are value-added products.
Yes. So, so it's basic. So there's really not so much science to it. The basis of it is that when you add value to your product, you gain more. If you do raw exports, if you were to export the raw, let's say share nuts, as against adding value to share nuts, what you gain from the value added is higher. And that is why consecutively over the years, manufacturers has always been the leading contributor as far as the non-traditional export earnings are concerned. So it's not surprising.
Impressive.
So what we need to do is to encourage more value addition. And I'm excited that there's a clarion call for value addition of Ghanaian products.
And we see processed cocoa is also doing so well amongst the things that we export.
Yes. So this year in 2024, our top earner is cocoa paste. All right, which gave us about 461 million USD, followed by iron steel. The number 3 earner is cocoa butter. Then the number 4 is cashew nuts. Then you go up there, you have, so you see the cocoa derivatives, about 3 of them are part of the top 10 earners for 2024. What is it telling us? It's telling us that we need to add more value to our products.
Just for the sake of information, can you walk us through briefly what are the differences between cocoa paste and cocoa? What was the other one you called?
Yeah, so I talked of cocoa paste, cocoa butter, cocoa powder. Okay. These are all products from the cocoa beans, cocoa liquor. All right, so, and that is the point I made, that non-traditional, when you add value to the product, traditionally we are known for the cocoa beans. But you see, when you process it, when you turn it into these derivatives, the various products, I want to use the word byproducts, that is where you make the money.
Interesting.
So you have the cocoa pays the rest of it, yeah.
So it means that, of course, I'm sure that as an authority, you'll be making plans to scale up these numbers. Or
yes, of course. Yes, of course. And fortunately, and for us as an institution or agency under the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, our mandate is to develop, facilitate, and promote Ghanaian exports. And we have the Accelerator Export Development Program coming on board. We think that is a vehicle through which we can upscale and ensure that we increase our export earnings. And don't forget, as we increase export earnings, you know what it does as far to the economy in terms of balance.
Yeah. Now, the other issue is that, per the report, I understand that about 45% of the total exports are within the sub-region, within the continent.
Yes.
That sounds quite impressive, especially knowing that we have the AFCFTA in play. But really, does that free trade agreement have any role to play in the 45%?
Yeah, thank you. So the 45, so normally we have what we report on regional economic blocks. So regional economic blocks, we are looking at the ECOWAS sub-region, we are looking at SADC, that's the Southern Africa Development Community, we are looking at CIMAC, we are looking at COMESA, ESE, and then the North African side. Now, if you look at the report, what it tells you is that 45% earnings stayed within the ECOWAS region, recorded about 94.17%. All right. What does this tell us? It's telling us the need for us to deepen our true relationship within the sub-region. And there is a vehicle, the ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme is what is helping do the magic. However, you've talked about the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Yes, it's the Continental Free Trade Agreement is here for us with a huge potential. But currently, as we speak right now, there are still bottlenecks. So if you look at the earnings as far as the SADC region is concerned, the East Africa is concerned, we see that the percentages are just below 1%. Why? The reasons are many. Number one has to do with logistics. Now, if I have to ship a product from Ghana, from Tema, to let's say, Mombasa in Kenya, it has to go to Europe before it comes down to Kenya. So logistic-wise, there are issues, all right? Aside that one, don't forget, we need to gradually liberalize the tariffs, which is a 10-year period. Now, so there are many reasons why, even though AFTA is in motion, we are still not getting the full benefit of AFTA. Therefore, there's a need for us to concentrate on give attention to ECOWAS, since that's our major, currently main destination as far as our Ghanaian exports are concerned.
Interesting, sir. Mr. Your final words, and then also we've seen what's happening with the CD. You know that now is the time to increase our export earnings on one end to get us more forex. Number two, to also shore up our exporters who are also somewhat losing money because of the CD appreciation. What is the commitment of GEPA to increasing export volumes and to improve the numbers that we've seen despite your marginal decline this year?
Yes. So on behalf of our CEO, Mr. Francis Kojo Kwartin Arthur, and the rest of the leadership, I did mention about the Accelerator Export Development Program, of which, as an agency and the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the Honorable Minister is on the committee, and GEPA has a very pivotal role to play as far as the Accelerator Export Development Program is concerned. And I'm pretty sure that looking at we've lined up a lot of big push initiatives which are geared towards increasing these export earnings. So I'm very certain that with all this in place, and I can tell you on authority that by the time we are reporting 2025 statistics, we have a good story to tell, and of course it will be positive. And
at your program, we heard the Deputy Minister of Trade say that they were hoping to increase the number from about 3 billion to about 6 billion next year.
From 4 to 6 billion, and I'm very sure that will definitely arrive. Don't forget, we've actually not included service export. You do recall that service export, we got 9.20 billion. That has not been included. We take the data from Bank of Ghana. We also have informal cross-border trade. As a country, we have so many rules through which legal trade is done illegally. If we were to put all these numbers, what the minister said is something wouldn't cross. All
right. Thank you so much. That was Dr. Martin Akokti. He's the head of research at the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, GEPA. Thank you so much for coming through and bringing us updates from your non-traditional export statistics 2024. We're looking forward to the 2025 release next year when it finally comes up, and hope that you'll be able to meet your targets. But that'll be all for today's edition of Business Focus. But just to remind you Today on the show, you heard breaking news, the fact that transport fares are officially going to go down by 15% according to the Ghana GPRTU, who are saying that effective Saturday, transport fares will go down by 15%. You heard it first time here on Business Focus. We're bringing you that news, that update, and we'll keep our eyes on the grounds to see how this materializes finally on Saturday. That'll be all for today's edition of Business Focus. Thank you so much for tuning in. For more business stories, please visit our website, s3news.com/business. Later on News 360 today, we'll bring you more updates from the world of business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for watching. As always, please stay safe and catch you next week.
Business Focus is brought to you by EcoBank, Telecel,
Touch concentrated perfume.